Please, I hope the Marais grade are able to chant it together, or should I lead and chant? Lead and follow? Okay, we'll chant. We'll chant one Omkara, and after that, together we'll recite this shloka. Buddhism is also based on overcoming suffering only. Why Buddha left his home? To overcome suffering only, dukkham. So he saw four things which made him go out of his house. What are the four things? Old age, death, disease. So three things, yes. So these three things he saw and saw that people ultimately are going to suffer, or this is one cannot be free from such a suffering. So that triggered him to think about a state that is free from suffering. So this is not only true for the Buddhism, every other system. The Sankhya philosophy also starts with the suffering only. Dukkha traya bhighata tadapakhatake heto jignasa. That's how Sankhya Karika. Sankhya Karika, have you heard of this? Sankhya Karika. Sankhya is foundational for which school of philosophy? Yoga. Yoga is established on Sankhya. And primary literature in Sankhya is, primary text in Sankhya is Sankhya Karika. Sankhya Karika written by Ishvara Krishna. In about 70 Karikas, 70 shlokas, Karikas, he has summarized the entire philosophy of Sankhya, foundational teachings of Sankhya, and the very beginning of Sankhya Karika starts with, the very beginning is Dukkha Traya Bhighata Tadapakhatake Hetau Jignasa. People are afflicted by Dukkha Traya. Dukkha Traya means three kinds of sufferings. What are those? That is Buddhism. Old age, death and disease are Buddhism. So the three dukkha's or sufferings mentioned in the Sankhya philosophy is Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Dukkha. What are these? What is Adhyatmika Dukkha? What is Adi Bhautika Dukkha? And what is Adi Daivika Dukkha? What is Adhyatmika Dukkha? Generally people will translate Adhyatmika as spiritual suffering. Not at all. So, suffering that is concerned with the Atman. Atma here has so many meanings. The word Atma has so many meanings. It can mean the body, it can mean the mind, it can mean the consciousness also. But dominant meaning that we know is consciousness. But that's why we say Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. There Atma does not mean the consciousness. Consciousness cannot be uplifted or cannot be let down. So let's come back. So Adhyatmika suffering means the sufferings pertaining to the body, mind, senses, etc. That we generally perceive as ourself. Ourself, the general understanding of ourself is the body, mind, sense complex. So that is the headache, back pain, Adi, Vyadhi, etc. are the Adhyatmika Dukkha's. Okay? And then Adi Bhautika Dukkha. What is Adi Bhautika Dukkha? Adi Bhautika. Bhuta means fellow beings. Fellow beings also equally troublous. Okay? The example that is given in the Gaudapada commentary to the Sankhya Karika is Chora Vyagradi Bhayam. Chora is thief. Vyagra is harmful animals like tiger. You don't find anything here, but means those people who are antisocial, people with antisocial, negative tendencies who trouble others. So choras. Vyagras, of course, other fellow beings which are cruel, which may hurt us. Even a dog may bite us. Okay? So that is Adi Bhautika. The suffering that we attain by the fellow beings, that is Adi Bhautika. And then Adi Daivika, that is when the calamities from the nature, and also the commentaries also mention about the Graha Gatis, the various celestial configuration of our Graha, etc. That also we create, that is Adi Daivika. So in this way, threefold sufferings are there for human beings. To overcome that, Jijnasa. Jijnasa is desire to know how to overcome this. So be it Sankhya, be it Buddhism, everywhere we can see both Astika Darshana, Nastika Darshana, everywhere the search is to overcome Dukkha. So when Rama speaks about Adi and Vyadhi, so here Vasishtha Maharshi rightly connects it to the Dukkha. That don't look at Adi and Vyadhi. Fundamentally they are the ones which is connected to the fundamental problem of human life, that is Dukkha, suffering. Okay. So and then he gives a temporary way and also a everlasting way to overcome this Dukkha caused by Adi and Vyadhi. One is the moksha state and the other is counseling and various medical healing practices. And then the next verse it is mentioned that these Adis and Vyadhis, how do they manifest in tandem? Sometimes they manifest mithaha, means one causes the other. So psychosomatic, somatocytic, etc. Kadachit samameva cha, they manifest together. And then sometimes sukha, adi vyadhi. In this way, there is relief, suffering. So alternative way. So this is where we are here. I took some time to remind because it's already 6 days that have passed. So there is a refreshing of the understanding that we require and to pinpoint where we are as such. Of course, the recording of the videos are being shared. Did you get the recordings? Yes. I think it will be shared. It is there available. So you can also in the meanwhile look at the recordings to refresh your memory. Now this is where we are. So in this we see that the definition of the Adi is Adi and Vyadhi are given. General definition of Adi and Vyadhi are given in this 14th shloka. So shall we chant this now? Deha dukkham vidur vyadhim. Deha dukkham vidurvyadhim adhyakyam vasanamayam. तत्त्वज्ञाने परीक्षयः आध्याख्यं वासनामयं मौख्यमूले हिते विद्यात् तत्त्वज्ञाने परीक्षयः देहदुःखं विदुर्व्याधिं आध्याख्यं वासनामयं मौख्यमूले हिते विद्यात् तत्त्वज्ञाने परीक्षयः देहदुःखं विदुर्व्याधिं आध्याख्यं वासनामयं मौख्यमूले हिते विद्यात् तत्त्वज्ञाने परीक्षयः. You have to memorize this. Right.
Change in the wordings in the third
Wait.
paragraph. Instead of Maurya, we have Moha Mule in the handouts.
There is a reading change. It's quite possible that two readings are there, but the meaning remains the same. Moha and Maukhya, they are almost synonyms. Okay. You have memorized it? Good.
देहदुःखं विदुर्व्याधिं आध्याख्यं वासनामयं मौख्यमूले हिते विद्यात् तत्त्वज्ञाने परीक्षयः.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Anyone else memorized? No. Okay. The first pada, this row please. Dehadukkam vidurvyadhim. You together, this full row.
Okay. Dehadukkam vidurvyadhim
आध्याख्यं वासनामयं मौख्यमूले हिते विद्यात्
All together.
तत्त्वज्ञाने परीक्षयः.
Some activities you have to do, no post lunch. Right. Okay. So now let us get into the word split. Dehadukkam viduhu vyadhim आध्याख्यम वासनामयम मौख्यमूले और मोहमूले हि ते विद्यात् तत्त्वज्ञाने परीक्षयः. So here viduhu vyadhim adhyakhyam and then vidyat tattvajnane. So only this much of split that you have to see. Can we all do the word split together? Yes. Dehadukkam. After every split word, give a split second gap. Okay. Dehadukkam. Viduhu. Dehadukkam. Viduhu. Then Vyadhim. Adhyakyam. Vasanayam. Maukyamule. Hi. Te. Vidyat. Tattvajnane. Parikshayah. Now the general definition of Adi and Vyadhi is given here. Dehadukkam viduhu vyadhim. Vyadhim viduhu. Viduhu, they know. They know. Viduhu, they know. Who know? The experts. The knowledgeable people, they know. What do they know? Vyadhim. Vyadhim viduhu. They know the vyadhi. Vyadhim viduhu. They know vyadhi. As what? Deha dukkham. Deha dukkham. Discomfort or suffering in the body. So beautiful, simple, easy definition of vyadhi we have got. So what is the simple definition of vyadhi? Deha dukkham. So what is the simple definition of vyadhi? Deha dukkham, discomfort or unease. That's why we call it as dis-ease. So that is uneasiness in the body or suffering in the body is called as, that is vyadhi, which is known by the learned. Vyadhim viduhu, the general definition of vyadhi. If you get into the various technical literature, Ayurveda literature, you know that what is the general definition of vyadhi? Dosha, vyadhistu, dosha vaishamyam. They will say further definitions are there for vyadhi. That is dosha vaishamyam vyadhi. Even in the Yoga Sutra you find the word vyadhi. Where do you find vyadhi in Yoga Sutra? Vyadhisthana. So among the antarayas you find vyadhi. In the commentary to that sutra where vyadhi is there, vyadhi dosha vaishamyam. Dosha rasa dhatu rasa karana vaishamyam vyadhi. That is the definition that is given in one of the commentaries. I think it should be the Vyasa's commentary. So dhatu rasa karana vaishamyam vyadhi. Detailed definitions of vyadhi etc. are there. But here the contrast is to be shown between adhi and vyadhi. So hence a specific definition that the sufferings of the body is called as vyadhi. That much is there. Then, so it doesn't mean that they did not. Why I said this is, our literature, he has understood what vyadhi means in all its details, but the current context is to contrast between adhi and vyadhi. So such a definition is given. Are you with me in this? Yes. So then, adhi is known, then what is vyadhi? Adhyakhyam vasanamayam. Adhyakhyam, adhi akhyam, that which is called as, akhyam means that which is called as, akhyam means name. So that which is called as adhi, adhyakhyam, what is that? What is its nature? Vasanamayam. Adhyakhyam, vasanamayam. The nature of adhi is vasanamayam. Maya, the pratyaya maya, mayat is there. It has so many meanings. Prachurya, vikara, etc. So, prachurya means we say mridmaya patram. Mridmaya patram means a pot that is made up of mud. So, prachurya, everywhere there is mud in the pot, so we say mridmaya. But here it is vasanamaya, not prachurya, not it is filled with, but it is the vitiation. So maya also means vikara. Mayat pratyaya is also added in the meaning of vikara. So the vitiated vasanas means not the normal vasanas. So by the vitiated vasanas, what we get is adhi. So adhi is the vitiation of vasanas. You might have heard about the vitiation of vata, pitta and kapha. Here adhi is defined as the vitiation of vasanas. Vasanas as such are not bad. Vasanas as such are very essential. They say in positive sense also the word vasana is used. Where is it used? Purva Janma Vasana. So we see certain people are prodigies. Certain people are prodigies, born singer. You can some YouTube or WhatsApp video is revolving as a girl, small girl from Karnataka is identifying or even correcting her mother in singing the ragas properly. So that is vasana. That is sadvasana. Proper vasana, good vasana. So that is good. We are very happy to see that. So that is positive vasanas which are helpful for our life. Even in Bhagavad Gita, you have good vasanas being mentioned. Purvabhyasena tenaiva kriyate hyavashopi saha. Arjuna has a question. Hey Krishna, you are advising me to do this yoga, that yoga, all that is fine. Even before attaining the yoga siddhi or samadhi or any particular jnana, if I die, what will happen? Then Krishna says, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Even if you do one good thing, it will leave the impact and you can continue from where you have left in your next life. Purva abhyasena kriyate hyavashopi saha. So why I am saying this is, vasanas have positive dimensions which help the continuity of certain things. They also say vidya vasana. Means some child is very intelligent, some people are very sharp, other people find it difficult to grasp. So because they have that vidya vasana. But whereas the negative dimension of vasanas is vasana maya. Vasana maya here means vasana vikara. The mayat here refers to vikara or the negative vasanas, the vitiated vasanas that create lot of trouble. Yes.
Any English word for vasana?
Vasanas, if you want, there are technical terms, subliminal impressions. That is the technical translation you will have, which is common to samskaras and vasanas. So they are all subliminal impressions. Both vasana and samskaras are impressions. They are subliminal, means very deep and subtle impressions that are there on the mind is called as vasanas, which is equally applicable to samskaras. Okay, so vasana mayam, adi is the, so if you define vyadhi as the discomforts or suffering in the body, adi is vitiation of vasanas. Vitiated vasanas are vyadhi. So the simple definition of adi is vitiated vasanas. Simple definition of vyadhi is disease, discomfort, suffering in the body. Now one question, what are all the vitiations in the vasanas? Where do we find that the vitiations in vasanas? Which are the vasanas which will lead us to mental afflictions? Are there any categorizations? Are there any descriptions in the Yoga Sutra literature which you are already aware? Right in the beginning of the second chapter you have those. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Desha, Abhinivesha. They are all what? Kleshas. Kleshas are all vasanas. Kleshas, if you see in Vyasa Bhashya, kleshas are avidya vasana. So, viparyaya vasana avidya. That's how it is stated. If viparyaya, again you have to go back to Yoga Sutra, basics of Yoga Sutra. 5 vrittis are there. What are the 5 vrittis? Brahma started well, but it didn't end. Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smriti. So, in the second chapter we call avidya. The commentator Vyasa says avidya is nothing but viparyaya vasana. So the subliminal impressions left over by the viparyaya. Viparyaya is wrong knowledge. So the impressions of wrong knowledge is called as avidya. So if avidya itself is in the form of vasana, avidya is the kshetra, is the field for the further kleshas. What are the next kleshas? Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Desha, Abhinivesha. So when to a normal level, everyone have all these things. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Desha, Abhinivesha. When they become vitiated, when they become more, when they become unmanageable because of our lack of control over what we consume through our senses, what we think, etc., those vasanas, avidya, asmita, raga, desha, abhinivesha, they get vitiated. That is called as vasanamaya, which leads to adi. Do you get it? What is vasanamaya? The vitiation of vasanas. vasanas are the pancha kleshas, when they become udara, even in the Yoga Sutra you have four states of kleshas. Prasupta, Tanu, Vichinna, Udara. So when the vasanas are full blown operation of the vasanas are there, that is their vitiated state that leads to the various adhis. So adhi is vasanamaya, vitiation of vasanas. Under that you have to write all these notes. Is this clear? Okay. So that general definition of what Adi and Vyadhi is given, and then Vasishtha Maharshi also gives how to get rid of both these Adis and Vyadhis once for all. He has already given that. Here he is reiterating that how to once for all overcome these Adis and Vyadhis. Maurkhya Mulehi te Vidyat. Te, those two, te means those two, which two? Adi and Vyadhi are Maurkhya Mula or Moha Mula. Maurkhya or Moha is delusion. Murkhata is not, okay, you can call it as foolishness or delusion. If you use the word Maurkhya, it is foolishness. If you use the word Moha, it is a delusion, wrong knowledge. Normally a fool, whom we call a fool? A person who does not understand, who does not have the right knowledge. Deluded person is also a person who is confused, so who does not have a clear knowledge. So both these Adis and Vyadhis, they Maurkhya Mule, they stem from. Mula means the root. So they stem from, they have their roots in Maurkhya. Maurkhya is a deluded, wrong knowledge. Okay? About what? Wrong knowledge about what? Their own self. Their own self means the Maurkhya or Moha here refers to their wrong perception that they are the body, mind, sense complex and not the consciousness. That is the Maurkhya that is mentioned here. That is the Moha that is mentioned here. Tattva Jnane, when the truth is known, what is the truth to be known? That I am the pure consciousness. When that Tattva Jnana comes about, Parikshayaha, the once for all overcoming of Vyadhi and Adi happens. So, Adi is defined, Vyadhi is defined to once for all get rid of Adi and Vyadhi. What is the impediment? Moha or Maurkhya or wrong knowledge, wrong perception about one's own true nature. Once the Tattva Jnana is achieved, that I am pure consciousness, Adis and Vyadhis can be overcome. Let me give a small example. I have read it in some book which I remember now. There were people, yogis. There was one great yogi, I forget his name, some Avadhani. So he was physically suffering. He was physically suffering from the piles condition. And he was externally, one sees that he is in a great discomfort, etc. Physically, he is under great suffering. But as such, he is not bothered. Just like if the sun is striking or scorching, means it will be there. So sometimes we have to work in the sun, etc. That discomfort we sometimes accept and we just go about running here and there doing our work. Similarly, while there was a discomfort due to the piles condition, he was just going about his activity. He was a great yogi. Physically, you can see great yogis also getting very many diseases. Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they also got cancer and such other diseases. The difference is we worry too much about those illnesses, whereas they take it in their stride. So the point is, one such Avadhani, one such yogi, he also had so many followers. He was suffering with this this piles problem. So while he took it in his stride, his students, some of whom were doctors also, they said, sir, this cannot happen. You cannot stay with this problem. We will operate you. We will operate and help some relief in your physical condition. Then he said, okay, but don't give me any anesthesia. Without any anesthesia, you can do it. So then they operated upon him to remove that piles and without anesthesia. And throughout the operation, you could see that he maintained that pleasant, peaceful, yogic countenance without any show of discomfort. Then after all the surgery, everything is over, then they asked him, we know this is a painful procedure, but how is that you could not, you did not experience any pain? Then he said, there is something called as Chit Jada Granthi. In our body or in our system, there is in our chitta, there is a Chit Jada Granthi. Granthi is knot. A knot that connects the Chit consciousness with the Jada. So, as the knot of the Chit and the Jada is there, all that happens, even a small scratch in our hand, we are, see, the consciousness takes that for itself. Oh, I am scratched. The consciousness thinks that whereas the scratch has happened in the body or in the hand. So, because of the knot of the Chit and the Jada, whatever happens to the Jada, the Chit feels it is undergoing the suffering. What I did was, and that Chitta Jada Granthi is nothing but a vasana. Full of, when the vasanas are accumulated, that Chitta Jada Granthi becomes stronger and stronger. So by yogic practices, by abhyasa and vairagya, a yogi can relax this connection temporarily. He can even suspend the connection between the Chitta and the Jada. So the Chitta remains a kind of temporary kaivalya. The Chit can be separated and the Jada can be separated. He explained the mechanism, how he did not feel the pain. So when by the yogic practices the Chit was separated from Jada, whatever, see, a ball is there, the rubber ball is there. If you cut open a rubber ball, will I feel pain? No. So similarly, it was as if that Jada portion of me was suspended by me, so that I did not feel anything. So the essential thing is, according to our Shastra, our Yoga Parampara, that it is all the Chitta Jada Granthi, the knot of the Chitta and the Jada, that makes us feel this Vyadhi, that Adi, this Adi. So if we reach that state of loosening the Chitta and the Jada Granthi, then any illness, no illness will afflict us, or any kind of procedure can be performed with a minimum of our discomfort. So in this way he explained. So the point is that the Tattva Jnana is the solution. Even by yogic practices, if you can just suspend the Chitta Jada connection, such a relief can be attained. What if, so that suspension has to be revoked? It cannot go away without the proper karma, etc. If you cannot remove that connection between the consciousness and the inner dimension of our own self. But for once for all, how to remove the connection between the Chit and the Jada? By abhyasa, vairagya and such other yoga sadhana, yama, etc. That is the measure by which the Chit is separated from the Jada. That is called as Tattva Jnana. Tattva Jnane Parikshaya. The ultimate overcoming of Adi and Vyadhi can happen once for all. The Chit or the consciousness can stay swastha. That's the beautiful word. The Chitta can be swastha only when the connection with the Jada is overcome. As long as the connection with the Jada in the form of body or the mind remains, as long as the bodily connection is there will be Vyadhi. As long as the connection with the Chitta, the mind is there will be Vyadhi. So the ultimate solution has been already given by Tattva Jnane Parikshayaha. These are simply words which are simply given, but we have behind this so many such ideas, life experiences, practical things which we see in the lives of yogis. Yogis have shared it in this way. So such overcoming of sufferings are possible. So the essence of this shloka is the general definition of Adi and Vyadhi, and then the permanent overcoming of Adi and Vyadhi. What is the measure? See, that's why in the previous session I mentioned that as chikitsakas, as providers of chikitsa, it is not enough we provide aushadhi and anunaya. It is also essential that some amount of tattva jnana can also be given. So in a place where therapy happens, you can see doctors, physicians putting the chart of, if he is a gastroenterologist, then he will put the structure of the colon, the upper colon, the lower descending colon, and the rectum, all those regions. All that. So the same way, if some other person is connected with the bone, so orthopedic means all those related descriptions will be there. Good. They should be there to inform the patient about what treatment is going to happen, etc. At the same time, some information about Tattva Jnana should also be there in a physician's room. So that's when, along with the temporary symptomatic, the materialistic solution that we are giving to Adi and Vyadhi, an orientation to overcome the Bhava Vyadhi, Bhava Roga, that should also be given. That is the very clear philosophy that we have, that emerges through this shloka even. Is this fine? Any questions on this? Okay. So we will go to the next verse, where now we come to the worldly plane. So far we were in the spiritual plane about the ultimate cause, ultimate problem, and how to address Adi, Vyadhi, etc. Now Vasishtha Maharishi understands that we need to know the practical reasons of why this Deha Dukkha comes, and then this Vasana Maya, Vasana Vikara, why does it come? So that is now given initially the cause of Adis, the worldly causes of Adis, that is given. The ultimate cause of Adi is, Moha, Maurkhya. That's what is stated in the previous shloka. So Moha or Maurkhya or Ajnana is the ultimate cause. What about the other external causes of Adi? That is now first taken up. So inside out rather than outside in, inside out, because it is we who are learning. So hence it involves us also. So hence the inside out approach is taken. So first Adi and then Vyadhi. Yes. Moha is a delusion, wrong understanding. Vyamoha is a kind of, it's a different, Vishishta asamantat moha means a terrible holding on to the delusion. See, someone is deluded or means confused that this is the truth. He has a wrong understanding that this is a particular truth, but on being advised, they will shed it. But the Vyamuddha or people with Vyamoha, even on being advised, they will not shed. They will hold on to their wrong perception. That is why you have two prefixes, Vishishtaha, Asamantat, Vidyamanaha, Moha. Very strong. That's why very means a very strong hook of vasana is there about their wrong knowledge. Certain people can let go their misunderstanding, but certain people cannot let go. Those people are known to have Vyamoha.
Viparita Moha.
Moha is already Viparita and Vishishta Moha.
Vishishta Viparita
Moha. So now this causes of Adis that we see, while the ultimate cause we have already seen. What is the ultimate cause? I am asking the question once again. That should be rooted in our mind. That's why I am repeating. So the other reasons outside Moha, what are all the? And that Moha is about the Atman. See, Moha about various things may come. Normally, whatever I say is right, whatever you say is wrong. That is also another Moha. In our transactions also we have this Moha, but this Moha which was mentioned in the previous context is a Moha about who we are. That is the root Moha. If that is overcome, all are overcome. So then here the other kinds of causes for Adis are mentioned. So now, so in two shlokas the Adi, the causes of Adi are mentioned. later you get the process of vyadhi. Atatva jnana vashatah svendriyakramanam vina hridi tanavamutsrijya
आधय संप्रवर्तन्ते
iva. Both the shlokas together. So you can practice it on your own. You have practiced enough of reciting. Now let's get into the word split. So together these two shlokas present what are all the causes of the manifestation of various afflictions. So first we will see the word split. Atatvajnana vashataha is one word. Atatvajnana vashataha Svendriya kramanam vina. No problem there. Hridi Tanavam utsrijya. Tanavam utsrijya. Ragadvesheshu anaratam. Ragadvesheshu anaratam is split as Ragadvesheshu anaratam. So only two places. Tanavam utsrijya. Ragadvesheshu anaratam. Then idam praptam. Idam na iti. Jahyat va ghanamohataha adhayaha sampravartante varshasu mihika iva. No problem there. So praptam idam. Neti is split as na iti. And then jadyat va, when you split it, jadyat va. So otherwise all the other things are easy. So can we split? Now I think it is clear. So give a gap after each split word. Now, atatvajnana shataha svediya kramanam vina hridi tanavam utsrijya ragadvesheshu anaratam idam praptam idam. Once again, idam praptam idam na iti jadyat va ghanamohataha adhayaha sampravartante varshasu mihika iva. So this is the shloka. Now we can see that adhayaha sampravartante. Adhayaha adhi is singular. Adhayaha is plural, which means many mental afflictions. So the mental afflictions sampravartante, they manifest, they are on the move, they are experienced. Sampravartante, they are constantly being experienced. What are constantly being experienced? Adhayaha, many mental afflictions are experienced. So how are they experienced? Varshasu. Varsha means rain. Varshasu in the rainy season. Mihika is mist. So in the rainy season, in the morning times, you have to see the water surface. Not only in the snow or the winter season, the mist is all over. But generally, when it rains and in the morning, you can see on water surfaces, it will be full of mist. like the misty mornings of the rainy season. So what is the effect of a mist? Normally, even when the winter comes, when there is a lot of snow and mist, what does it do? Huh? Vision is impeded, clarity is impeded, right? So flights are cancelled. Why? They say lower visibility. The visibility is lower. So hence it's a beautiful thing. That beautiful example that is given, like the mist in the climate that is experienced, including during the rainy season, in rainy season and also in winter, etc. What is experienced? The mist. The mist is experienced just like that. In what is the mist within our minds? The adhis. They impede clarity. Adayaha, varshasu during the rainy season and such other seasons, winter seasons, mihika iva, like the mist, like the misty manifestations that in the nature that we can see, the adaya, the adhis manifest. Okay? And how are these adhis? Just to add some more adjective or some more clarity to the example also, Mr. Ghana Moha Daha. The cause of adhis are going to be stated. Before that, what is the nature of the adhi? That itself is to first clarify. Okay? So why should we worry about the adhis? Because they impede our vision, they impede our clarity. In what way? When you say they impede the clarity, what is the meaning of it? That is further clarified by the word Ghana Moha Daha. Ghana means dense. Ghana means dense. Ghanata, Sandrata, they say that. So dense. So Ghana Moha. Moha is delusion. We have already discussed it. So delusion means a lack of clarity. Something has to be perceived as such, but we don't perceive. See all the phobias, etc. See, for example, someone will get a phobia to get into the lift. Is the lift itself a problem? No, it is an instrument to take people up. What is that phobia for enclosed environment? Claustrophobia. So the room itself is not the problem, or the lift itself is not the problem. It is our moha. So for some others we say, no, this is just an instrument, you can go. But certain mohas will never go. So Ghana Moha means those mohas, those delusions which will not leave us. They are dense mohas. Ghana Moha Daha. So what does the adhis gift us? They gift us. Da means dadati. So what do they gift us? They gift us Ghana Moha. So they grant us, they gift us dense moha, dense lack of clarity in vision about the ultimate truth. That is one. About our day-to-day transactions also. Is phobia an adhi? Yes. So in this way, if phobia is one example, in the same way there are so many other problems which essentially when we see, they are of the nature of Ghana Moha, dense lack of clarity. So this is the nature. To understand our Ghana Moha, the example of mist. Just like the atmosphere will be misty in the mornings of a rainy season or the winter season, similarly those in whom the adhis are active, their minds will be clouded and misty with what? Ghana Moha, dense lack of clarity in many things around. They will pick up quarrel, they will fight, they will fear, and they will feel depressed, inferiority. Everything comes about. All those afflictions of the mind is a gift of the adhis. So such adhis, where do they come from? So they are the other causes. So if this is the nature of adhi, what are all the contributing factors to this adhi? That is given in the rest of the shloka. which we will explore in the next class. Okay? Any questions so far?
To tell about the value in Ayurveda, Yogastu dosha vaishamya.
Vaishamya.
Dosha samyam arogha.
Arogha.
That's right.
Okay then, we take your silence as acceptance and end the class here. Yatasarvani bhutani